Okay. Good morning. On behalf of Superintendent Joy Hive-Moster, I want to welcome you to our WIDA Access Testing Information and Reminders. I'm glad I got 98 participants, so that's pretty good. Maybe I can break 100. We have a lot of information this morning, so if you have questions throughout the PowerPoint, if you can just write them in the chat box, and I will try to answer them. I'm going to go from the first ones through every single one of them at the end of the PowerPoint, because there's a lot of information that I have to get through. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about this morning is verifying access training records. So DTCs may review the access training status of their STCs and TAs by clicking the green account management and training status tile in the WIDA account and secure portal. On the WIDA user account management and training status, you're going to look up the page and you're going to be able to see the DTCs and see what kind of training they've had. And so I'm actually going to show you how to look that up. So in your WIDA login, if you are a DTC, you can go to account management and training status here. I'm actually not going to be able to show you because I can't show you somebody's, but let me see if you can see. I put mine on here. You can look them up by email, their name, and you can search on there, and then you can see the quizzes they've taken and everything, and then the permissions that they have on here. Obviously mine's a little bit different because I have state permissions. So this is how you can see what kind of training your TAs or school testing administrators have done to be able to administer access. So let's go back to the PowerPoint. And you can see all of the training requirements that are listed on the Oklahoma Access for EL's checklist. And I'm going to be able to send this PowerPoint at the end, so you're going to be able to get all these links for this too. So before testing, each school district shall require that every individual involved administering WIDA assessments sign a non-disclosure and user agreement. And this is actually found in the WIDA Secure portal. So just like OSCP, we need to have a non-disclosure and user agreement. And so you can keep these, you can sign those electronically and keep them electronically in a folder, or you can print it out and making sure that all of your teachers or testing administrators have this in their file that they've been trained, and they also are to sign the non-disclosure agreement. So I'm going to show you, this one is on here too. And you go to, it's the download library. And under access right here, you can see the non-disclosure and user agreement PDF right there. And so you can see that we did not secure portal non-disclosure user agreement. So if all the TAs need to sign this on here. And you can keep this in a file or print them out. And you don't have to send this to WIDA or to me. It's just for your records to keep. And this needs to be signed yearly. Okay? Okay. Now, for the access training requirements, it's Oklahoma Access for EL's checklist. If it opens. I'm also going to show you, if you log in, before you log in, if you go to Members Oklahoma. Right here, you can find all of the checklists and directions that I'm going to be talking about today. But this is what I say, pretty much the guidelines that all of the DTCs should have, because it shows you what the district testing coordinator, the school testing coordinator, and the test administrator needs to do. And so you can look at these and it shows you all of the before testing task and all the things before testing, during testing, and then after testing. And all of the links on here have been updated. So this is probably one of the best guides to help you during access testing. I went to, okay. If a student, so if we have, we have a lot of students that are move, and so, but if a student has, is moving, it's in the same district, but is just moving to a different school, if they have not begun access, you can remove the student from the test session at the old site and then manually add the student like a new student to the new site. And the student will test at that site. But if a student has begun testing, has completed at least one domain, and I say completed, not just in process, then you can, just the same, you can add the student to the new site like a new student, and then just add those sessions, those domains that the student has not completed to the new site. Now, if a student has completed all of access, those records are non-transferable. So, and we have the WIDA AMS User Guide on here on page 121. It goes step by step of how to do that. It has the screenshots of WIDA AMS, so you can see that too on there. It's going to take, oh. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry, we're having some. See.
We had an event like this once, and keep that up. Let's say restart the program. It's just PowerPoint, so hopefully it'll come right back. See. Thinking about it. Okay. Now let's bring yours up again.
There it goes. Is that it? Yep.
That was weird.
I think because I tried to open that file.
Link?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully the other links work. Okay, sorry about that. Okay. Now, for district transfers, if a student has not begun access, they should complete access in the receiving district. So if there's no domains have been started, but if a student has completed at least one domain, then you have to follow the instructions on WIDA AMS and using the transfer form. So I'm actually going to show you on, oh, it closed my WIDA AMS. Sorry, gotta sign in really quick again. On here, so you go to all applications, students management, and then up here, student transfer form. And then you'll be able to transfer that student records to the new district. And you can find more information about this in the WIDA AMS User Guide on pages 88 to 92, and then go step by step too. So just a quick note, students transferring out of state cannot have their access test records transferred. So we can't actually do this if they're moving out of states. But if you could possibly request the state ELO person for them to send you access scores, but that's probably going to be later on after the window. Okay, tips for avoiding access test irregularities. To ensure alternate access test takers have been removed from access online test sessions. So I did see a question about this. I'll answer that here. So if a student with an IEP that will be taking the alternate access assigned to a test session with WIDA AMS, is it necessary to remove their name from the online sessions? So yes, if a student is taking alternate access, you need to remove them from all of the testing sessions. You can't actually delete students off of WIDA AMS, so their name will still be in there, but they won't be in an actual testing session. So once you remove them there, then you can administer the alternate access. There has been occasions that the student might have started access online, maybe like taking a domain there, and then you figure district coordinators or some test administrators figure out, oh, they're supposed to take alternate access. So in that case, you will need to contact me so that we can delete that that test domain or the domains that they've taken it, so that the student can take the correct access test. So other testing irregularities. Ensure the test takers have their eyeglasses, hearing aids, or any assistive device they may need to do their access test. We wanted to give them the best, it is testing, so but the best possible experience on there. So make sure that they have all of the necessary things they need. So ensure also that the computers are configured correctly so the students hear the listening test items. Closely monitor students to ensure they don't rush or click through test items. So as we know, some of these students might be going through these items quickly, and then you look and they're done with the reading domain in like 3 minutes. I mean, we know that that's not correct. So if something like that happens, please call me and I can regenerate the tickets. I mean, I can see how long the students took in each domain. So if you are monitoring the students and you notice that they are, just kind of clicking, and they're done in 3 minutes, I can do that. Also for, I forgot to say for the listening domain, please make sure that they can hear. I mean, I know last year we had a couple incidents that students went through, the listening domain and weren't able to hear anything. And then they finished the test and they were like, oh yeah, well, I didn't hear anything at all. And so make sure that that works correctly. Next, also check students' first, last, and middle names on both test tickets and domain tests after a student has logged in, but before they begin answering items. So we've had incidents that students might have taken somebody else's test and completed the whole 4 domains. In incidents like that, please give me a call, and I can actually, if you call me, we figure out, oh, they took the wrong test and they took the whole test, then I can call DRC, contact DRC, and they can actually switch those tests and so that student doesn't have to retake the whole test again. And then we can regenerate a new testing ticket for the student that took the other student, so the other student could take the test too. So please contact me when something like that happens immediately. And because of that, towards the end, we do have a test irregularity form that you can fill out, letting me know the situation, and that way I can, see what we can do from there. Okay, so this is new this year. I just wanted to make sure that you see this. So potential Ls who enroll within the access window. So last year we had like a cutoff date, but now we have an actual a new guidance. So if a new potential EL student enrolls within the WIDA testing window prior to the final 10 instructional days of the window, so our window is from January 13th through March 27th, and their home language survey response indicate they may be a potential L, the student should be given the WIDA placement test. So their screener, so the KWAP, or if they're in kindergarten, or the screener or model. If a student tests as EL, they should be given the appropriate access test prior to the close of the testing window. If the student enrolls within the final 10 instructional days of the window, the district is responsible for only administering the appropriate placement test. So I know that a lot of districts during this time is their spring break. And so that might, so if you don't have instructional days during it's till March 27th. So a week prior to that, there's no instructional days, then your cutoff day, it is the 10 days before. So just to make sure, I know they're probably going to have some questions about that. But we do have a very long window. So please do not wait till the end of, towards the end of our testing window to test all your students. Access online attemptedness criteria. So this is more for those L's that have limited English proficiency, those newcomer students that might not, you know, I know I get this a lot of this question a lot. Like, what do we do with those L's that speak no English? And so this is kind of a way for them to still get a score on there, but they're not going to have to, you know, they're not going to have to struggle during the whole test. So L's who meet the attemptedness criteria on a given domain are assigned the lowest possible scale score instead of receiving no score. And I actually have linked it on here. Let's see if it's, oh, this one is, I'm sorry. The Access Online Attemptedness is actually on, under the secure documents on here. Let me see. If you search it on here, here we go. Access attemptedness criteria. It's a PDF, and it goes through all of the ones that I have listed on here for access L's for online, access for paper, and kindergarten and alternate access. So if you need that document, it's under the secure documents in the download library in the secure portal. Now, go back. Okay, so for the listening domain, it has to be at least one score item with the response captured. For reading, at least one score item with a response capture. So they have to at least click on one. Speaking, student must click record, the record button, or at least one scored item. So that part says at least just click record. So they don't actually have to say anything on there. As long as they hit record, they'll get the lowest possible scale score on there. When it comes to writing and keyboarding, a visible keystroke recorded. And with handwriting, some marking on the booklet in the response space. Some kind of marking on there gives them the lowest possible scale score. Now, I'm going to talk about attemptedness on paper, but I just wanted to make sure that you know that access paper is only allowable for duly identified L's who receive paper-based testing as an IEP or an I-504. So this is just allowed just for those students that have this accommodation. Now, I will talk about if there's like a unique accommodation, and that's going to be a little bit towards the end of the PowerPoint. So for listing at least one score item with the response bubbled, and so I mean bubbled, not like a check mark or an X, it has to be actually bubbled. Reading at least one score item with the response bubbled. Speaking, the booklet was returned with something bubbled for a score speaking task. And then writing some kind of marking on there. And then for kindergarten and alternate access, they have the same criteria. So close to the same criteria. So in kindergarten access, all domains, there is one score item with the response bubbled. For alternate access for L's, all domains, there is at least one scored item that has bubbled response of correct, incorrect, or response. And for all of these, the answers do not have to be correct. It has to be just an attempt to at least bubbled or you know, click on something on there. So the responses don't actually have to be correct for them to get that lowest possible scale score. Okay, so an important reminder about paper writing tests. And this is mainly for 1st through 3rd grade. So whenever possible, districts should send back their 1st through 3rd grade paper-based writing tests. And if you opted to get your 4th and 5th graders to do the writing domain on paper, those two. So district shipping back the paper-based writing test as soon as possible helps DRC ensure that assessments are scored within the allotted time frame. So if the sooner you send them back, the faster we get those results. Now, I did want to mention this, and I did send out a listserv message about this too, but it is very important that students who will handwrite their writing response instead of using the keyboard are placed into a handwriting response test session. So this is mainly for 4th and 5th graders, because those are the ones that Oklahoma has let you opt in to do the handwriting response. But if you do have, you know, like a 9th grader or 12th grader, you have to get permission before you do that. But they will also be placed in a handwriting response. So before beginning any grades 4 to 12 online access writing test sessions, test administrators should verify on the test ticket that the students are assigned to the test session in WIDA AMS aligns with their response mode. So please refer to pages 108 through 109 in the WIDA AMS User. And then I wanted to show you really quick. So I don't know if I can. I actually can't pull it up because I can't show you the students, but if you can see which one's a handwriting response because it has a HW on there on WIDA AMS. So it says online HW on there. Okay, so editing student demographic information. I know last year we had a lot of questions about this, and so I wanted to make sure that I address this this year. So district staff may edit the following student demographic information. So we changed it because last year you couldn't make a lot of changes, and it was just too much just for a couple of us to try to make all the changes that districts had. So we're allowing districts to be able to change the student detail. So that's how this picture here is how it looks up on WIDA AMS for you. So make sure that, you know, their first and last name are spelled correctly. This is the accommodation tabs. Make sure that the accommodations are put on there before they start testing the demographics. So the only ones we're looking for in demographics are the ethnicity, race, or if they're in IEP or 504. Those are the only ones that are needed. You're gonna be, when you click on this tab, you'll be able to see there's like a lot of different things that are asked for, but these are the only ones we're looking for here at OSDE. And if you have a do not score. So, oh, I actually did put this on here. Okay, so for the demographics here, this is what I was talking about. So you only need to, you know, pick any of these, and the IEP and the 504 is down here. I couldn't get it on here, but that's it. You don't need to fill anything else up on there. So, important reminders for unusual circumstances during testing. So page 77 of the test administration manual provides instructions on what to do when students are having an unusual difficult time. So this might be because a student is just not having, like, it's just, you know, going through some things, and might just be, you know, for some reason or another, might just be having a really bad day, or just does not want, or is just doesn't want to take the test. So every attempt should be made to administer all domains, but it is allowable to discontinue a domain and attempt to administer again in a later time. So, but a domain has to be attempted at least twice before it can be discontinued. So if you have tried everything possible and at least attempted to give the test twice, and the student is just refusing to take it, or, you know, there's just different circumstances, then the TA may opt to continue on to the next domain. Now, in that instance, if the student has already started the domain, you need to contact me so that I can force submit the incomplete domain for you, because it won't allow you to go to the next domain if there's still a domain in process. I hope that makes sense. And so, and this is just, you know, if a last resort. So, because of all of the, you know, the different irregularities and all the things that can, you know, possibly go wrong during testing, we have created a Google form for access testing irregularity reports. And so I'm going to show you, and I'm going to put this on our WIDA website on here. So it's just pretty simple. It has their email, district, site, test administrator, test proctor if applicable. I mean, we do not require a test proctor, but I mean, if you're testing, I would say more than 10 students, I would highly encourage to have a test proctor. And the domains. And once you submit this, please email me too, letting me know that you have submitted a test irregularity report, because sometimes we get like 20, 30 of these, and I'm you know, right now it's just me working on access, so I'm trying to make sure that I can get all of these completed. See. Okay, now we do have also, we created a emergency medical exemption request Google form, and this will also be in our WIDA website on here. I have just updated these, and so same on here. For this one, we will need documentation, some kind of it has an add file here, some kind of, you know, doctor notes, what the whole situation is, so that we can grant that. And please also email me once if you have submitted this. Now for access testing unique accommodation request form. So requests for assistance in addressing access testing unique accommodations must now be submitted through an Google form here too. I know last year we had like a document, but we actually have a Google form this year. And the same way, please email me once you submitted this. And for a unique accommodation, this is mainly for like those newcomer students who, you know, might be like a 7th grader, 8th grader, and have absolutely no keyboarding skills or computer skills, and would need paper access testing. So I don't need this for students that already have that on their IEP or 504, because I can see that in Ed Plan that's an accommodation that they have. This is just for those cases of, you know, the students that have absolutely no kind of computer or keyboarding skills and need paper. So there's, okay. Importing shipping update. So secure materials versus unsecure materials. And all of this information can also be found in the test administrator manual on page 69. And so there are some materials that you must return to your DOC, and some that should be destroyed on site. So these are the secure materials that must be returned. Students' response booklets by grade in plastic bags, all paper test administrator scripts, online grades 1 and 2 to 3 test administrator scripts, speaking test booklets, the CDs, all unused and unused large print braille test materials, alternate access for L's, any of those 3 booklets, kindergarten access for L's, ancillary materials. These are the materials that must be destroyed on site. Materials should never be destroyed until the access window has been closed, and all secure materials are verified as received by DRC. The following materials may be destroyed at the time. So the packing list, security checklist, all unused pre-ID and district school labels, district and school test coordinating manuals, test administration manuals, school box, range sheets, online grades, 4 through 12 administrators scripts. So on here, on WIDA AMS, you go to all application, materials. There's a materials receipt report. So when you send all those materials, you are able, you'll be able to see all the things that DRC has received on here. So in case you have something missing, this is where it's going to show that it's missing. And I get a report too, so if you haven't returned it, I'm probably going to be bugging you to return these secure materials. Okay. So materials management and shipping. It is important for DTCs to follow the instructions on the state-specific directions of Oklahoma WIDA's member page. So on here, see if it opens. It shows how to fill this out, and it tells you what to do for prior to administration, during, and immediately following. And it tells you the labels, and it's just specific directions of how to put this on the label placement, everything. This is Oklahoma state specific on here. And if you, for some reason, if you don't have this link, you just go, same thing to the Oklahoma. Instead of logging in to wida.wisc.edu, you just click down and go to Oklahoma. And it's right here, state-specific directions. It's this one. This one is the guidelines for all DTCs. This is the state-specific directions for how to send this materials back. Okay, now it is time for questions. I feel like I have quite a few questions. So let me go back to my chat box. Yes, it's right here. I think I have addressed if a student with an IEP will be taking the alternate access, it's assigned to a test session. So that one, those students need to be taken out of the test session and making sure that they're out of every single domain on there. So let's see.
I was trying to edit them back there for you because
Okay.
there's just a whole lot that are not really questions. Keep going down.
Do you have to retrain each year? If you have been administering access yearly, you don't have to retrain, but we strongly encourage for you to review, especially the speaking and writing domains. So, making sure that you're up to date on everything that's on there. But no, if you have been administering it yearly, you do not have to retain. But if it has been more than a year that you did administer access, then yes, you have to recertify.
Yeah, I get that one. Let's see what it does to you. Let's see. There was one, she said it didn't pop up, but later she said it did pop up.
Okay.
So she's okay. If you can just arrow down now. No, still doesn't like you. Oh, might tell them where the recording's going to be later.
Oh, we're going to send out the recording on the EL listserv, but it will also be posted on our ELPA WIDA page.
And yeah, but where's the Google Docs? You were working on those Google Docs with the questions.
Yes, all of those Google Docs will be posted also on our ELPA WIDA page. Right now, I think only the the irregularity report is up there, but they should be posted by the end of this week. All 3 of those Google Docs.
Let me help you pull this down, see what happens.
Will this PowerPoint be available to print? Yes, I will also send this PowerPoint in the EO listserv message, and it's also going to be posted on the ELPA WIDA page.
That one's almost
Yeah.
like before.
This one says the returning test administrators need to retake certification quizzes. I believe I answered that question. Does the first grade test administrator need to take the online administration quiz and the speaking quiz for grades 1 through 5? For access online, if you go through the WIDA, here it is this one, and it already has grades 1 through 12, and all of them are on here for the online version. Now, if you're going to do the WIDA, if it's, you know, a student that might be doing paper for, so if they're an IEP or something like that, then you do need to take the WIDA Screener online the paper-based one, and that's like that specific test for speaking on here that needs to be completed. What should we do if we are missing an item that was ordered? If you can just email me and we can, you know, or contact DRC, we can see what that item is. If it's part of on there that was supposed to be sent to you, definitely contact DRC. Hoping that our question regarding internal transfer students creating duplicates will be answered. I didn't see. I'm trying to find that question about, if you can emphasize what do you mean by duplicates? If students move out of your district but unsure of the receiving district, just remove from test sessions. So if a student has completed some domains from in your district, just leave those domains there. But yes, if you can remove them from those testing sessions from the other 2, like whatever domains they did not take. Can you go over where to find account management and training status page that you talked about at the beginning of the PowerPoint? Okay, so that is on the WIDA Secure portal. So you log into WIDA and you go in here. So this is if you have the DTC privileges, then you can see the account management training status. And you can see here, you'll be able to see the trainings and the quizzes on here. And then on here, you can see the user permission. So here, so user permissions, you'll be able to see what permissions they have. And in training, you can see all of the quizzes and everything that they've taken. If a student is having an unusual difficult time taking a domain and we want to discontinue testing, should we have the student keep clicking the arrows to move through the end of the test? How do we discontinue the domain exactly? Okay, so for that, if a student has a difficult time and you have attempted, that student has attempted at least twice and you want to discontinue testing, please do not just click the arrows. Please call me and I will submit that test where they're at so that whatever they did do can be scored. If you are not creating test sessions, do you have to remove students' names from somewhere for alt test kits? WIDA AMS does not let you remove students. just take them out of the testing sessions. But their name will still be on there. You can't actually delete students off of WIDA AMS. I am new and do not know where the WIDA page is. It's WIDA.wisc, like Wisconsin, WISC.edu. I have a question about transfer students. If we follow the procedures to create a duplicate student who has started testing already, would this create a merge that we have to during data validation after testing? As a follow-up, we're concerned that creating a duplicate students will show incomplete testing across domains due to separate school sites will increase the students of the number of irregularities as district teams, school leaders, and teachers use the completion status tools on AMS to ensure testing is complete. So if a student's moving within the same district, you should be able to communicate that student is coming to to the other site, and during data validation, we'll be able to merge the testing because we're using the same STN numbers. And so that's how we kind of keep track of that. But please let me know so that I can contact DRC and we can merge those tests on there. I have a kindergarten student who is nonverbal. The student is scheduled to take the access test this spring, not the alternate access, as the student most likely will not take WAP in later years. Is it possible for us not to administer the speaking test, but rather the listening only? For that student, yes, you can on there, on WIDA AMS, when you manage student, actually I can show you on, I'm at my PowerPoint. On here, on the do not score part for that student, you would just put that do not score for that domain that student will not be able to take. Sorry, I'm trying to pull up the. Laura, if for the internal transfer, if you can just email me and I can probably just we can probably talk and go through it more in depth. I have recently taken on this role and have looked at last year's student scores. I have 2 high school students that score a 4.8 and 4.9. Can I just remove them from the test session since they have exited from EL status? Yes, you can remove those students because they have automatically exited. So what might have happened is that when we pulled the file to send to DRC, the students might have still been quoted as EL, and that's why they got on there. But you, like I said, you can't delete students off of WIDA AMS, but you can remove them off all of the testing sessions. If all of our tests are online, then there should be no need to return anything we were sent, right? If you have, you still should have some paper materials, like if you are testing kindergarten students, or if you're 1st through 3rd grade, the writing domain is a paper booklet. So those need to be returned. So you will be sending things back. If they have moved, do we delete them? You can't delete students off of there. If they have taken some domains already, then like I explained earlier, for the, if it's within the same, If it's been the same school-to-school transfer, you can do this. Or if you don't know the district that they're going to, then just leave those domains that they have completed there. We have a student who just enrolled with us. His last access was in 2018 with an overall of 3.4. Is it permissible to skip the screener and then test it? Yes, students are only screened once in their academic career. If if you know that he's an L and he has only not had services for a year, then yes, just administer access. Where can I find what level of writing booklet a student has been assigned? For example, I have a first grader who will handwrite the writing test. I have received a writing test booklet level A and a writing test booklet level in BC. That is, I mean, honestly, that is up to you, what level you want to assign them. You can see like after they completed the other domains, you can do a tier placement, and on WIDA AMS, and it would tells you what tier to assign that student. Now, if you had, like, if we were talking about before ordering, you kind of guess, but WIDA usually sends you extras of, you will get more of the level BC booklets and the level A writing test booklets. Yes, we can talk tomorrow, Laura. I could not locate the WIDA AMS user guide yesterday. Could you please tell me where to locate this document? So on here, on your WIDA account, under the download library, you can just Google on here. I mean, not Google, search on here. Oops. WIDA user guide. And it should populate it on here. Here we go. WIDA AMS user guide right here. It's the page on here. But if you, for some reason, if you can't find it there, if you just go to our Oklahoma page on here, the access for checklist, it's all on here too. WIDA user guides, the test manager, all of these links are on here too. Yes, I will be at the Title III Consortium tomorrow. What is information technology's part in this? Just setting up the COS and making sure that that the TESM has been removed from the devices. Okay. They have moved to a different state, have not started a test. Then just remove them from the sessions, and that's all you need to do. Their names will still be there because you can't delete students. I was at the WIDA training in Tulsa. There were certain manuals you said were important to download. What are they? These are the manuals right here. All of these links on here they're attached to the Oklahoma Access Rails online checklist, so you can download these manuals on here. Does the outgoing school or the incoming school fill out the student transfer form? The outgoing school needs to fill out the student transfer form. Is the speaking quizzes for grades 1 through 5 for test administered just for the screener, or is that quiz for WIDA access? It's not completely clear on WIDA's website because it reads speaking quiz, screener, and access grades 1 through 5. So it's the same. So if you took that speaking quiz to administer screener, then it's the same for access. Students who have accommodations that are not embedded in the testing engine will need materials ordered through the additional material orders window. Is that correct? Students who have Says students who have accommodations that are not embedded in the testing engine will need materials ordered through the additional material ordering window.
It's a unique question. Have her email.
If you can just email me, like giving me more specific about that question, and then or call me, then we can probably answer it better. WIDA sends enough overage of tier A and BC booklets that I usually don't need to order additional booklets. Yes, I mean, that is correct. And if any additional booklets that you have, just send them back when you return materials. Does a test administrator who did not administer the screener need to take the speaking quiz for grades 1 to 5 to administer WIDA access? If the test administrator that needs to that's administering WIDA access, the test that they need to take, the module they need to take is this one, online grades 1 through 12. That's all they need to take to be certified to administer access. To the form goes to it just shows up in their student, like DRC it goes to DRC. Okay, so we're actually going to write up a guideline for the student transfer form. We're going to send out some more guidance about that. If you don't know where the student went or moving, and you haven't received records requests, just move the student from the test session. Is that correct? Just remove the student from the test session. Yes. Roxanne, if you can just email me or call me about the quizzes, then we can talk more about it. I don't have any more questions. I will be sending out this the PowerPoint and the video as soon as it's completed. In order to administer screener, aren't we supposed to take the speaking part of training, and completing training could make us eligible to administer access speaking? That is correct. Did you have? Oh, Sandra says, thank you. My download library doesn't look like yours. I found a TAM, but where are the others? It might be the type of permissions that you have on there, but if you don't have some of those, like I said, on the Oklahoma Access for ELS online checklist, it's some of the manuals that you need. Now, if you need for the some of those the attemptedness criteria and stuff, just email me and I can check and see what kind of permissions you have, or I can send you those PDFs. Okay, I'll stick around for a little bit if there's any other questions, but if not, thank you so much for joining me. We will send out clarification about student transfers, and we will be uploading this and sending this information out. Once I see all students and login info, do I need to do anything? Can you kind of give me a little bit more about, I don't understand your question. So if you see your students like test tickets? Can we do that?
What did it say?
Share the questions in a Google Doc?
I'll send you all the questions.
Okay.
And so, yeah, you can.
Yes, I can share the questions.
Especially you can kind of combine.
My phone number, it is 405-522-0862. But here is my.
Yeah.
Went too far.
Just pull that bar down to the end.
Oh, oh.
There you are. Now make it big. Good.
There you
Perfect.
go. There's my information. This is somewhat unrelated, but if a student is determined to be NMAR, must we remove their EL and bilingual status? Yes, you do. And we actually do have a document for NMAR now. If you go to our WIDA page, I'll show you really quick. Here is a non-measurable academic response document. And this needs to be done yearly for that student. Do I have to wait until Monday to print test tickets? No, you can print the test tickets whenever you want to or ready to test those students. Go back to this one. Okay, let's see. Do I need to enter any other information on students besides accommodations? No, just make sure that the student details, all of their names spelled correctly, everything else is correct. And like I said on the other demographics, just their ethnicity or race, and if they're an IEP or 504.
And you can just have them email you any other questions.
Yes, yes, okay. Well, that is my time, and if you have any other questions, please email me or give me a call. Thank you so much for joining me.